The nation's hottest star, my childhood friend, said she was out of shower gel and wanted to borrow mine. Just then, I answered a call from her rumored boyfriend, live on a variety show. "What are you doing, sis?" I froze. The next second, my childhood friend, oblivious, yelled from the bathroom, "What, Chris, why isn't this strawberry-scented shower gel my favorite?" The internet exploded. It turned out that the usually glamorous, aloof, and reclusive goddess was secretly harboring a puppy. I was pulling the curtains shut, secretly watching the latest TV series starring the reclusive goddess and Ava White on my phone, when I heard a knock at the door. I opened it to find the female lead, who had just been relentlessly pursued by leading men 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the show, standing there in a loose pink slip dress, her dark hair disheveled, a towel clutched in her arms, and an eyebrow raised at me. I swallowed hard, secretly tucking my phone behind my back. Frowning, I asked, "Why are you here dressed like that?" Ava White was my childhood friend. We'd known each other since we were in diapers. When we were kids, I thought of her as a buddy I could hang out with at the arcade. Who knew that in a blink of an eye, she'd become the dream of 900 million teenagers? After that, whenever we went out, I no longer dared to casually throw my arm around her neck and mock her short legs. I was afraid her 900 million fans would drown me in spit if each of them spat just once. If Ava White knew I was watching her show, I couldn't imagine how deafening her laughter would be. Ava White tilted her head, noticed my dark room, and smiled meaningfully. "Someone's here. It's not convenient." I glared at her guiltily, trying to wrap her in the towel. She smirked, puffing out her chest slightly. "Isn't my figure good?" The next second, my heart felt like it was about to burst. After all, a goddess was at my doorstep. No one could remain indifferent. She pinched my waist, and seizing the moment I winced, she squeezed into the room. "I ran out of shower gel at home. You don't mind if I take a shower here, do you?" I followed behind her, yelling, "If you're out of shower gel, can't you buy some? Did the supermarket at the corner go out of business? It's clearly still open." Could her excuse be any more absurd? Ava White moved quickly, slamming the bathroom door shut and turning on the shower, humming a tune as she began to wash. I breathed a sigh of relief, placed my phone on the table, and turned to wash strawberries for her. She always joked that I was blocking her chances with guys, and that until she found a boyfriend, I absolutely, positively had to wash strawberries for her by hand, or else she'd break my dog legs. Suddenly, my phone rang. Without thinking, I answered. "What are you doing, sis?" A sticky sweet male voice came from the other end of the line. "Long time no see, sis, I miss you so much." In just those 2 short sentences, I unconsciously added a wavy line at the end of each. The next second, I realized instantly that I had accidentally picked up the wrong phone. Both Ava White and I had the latest pineapple phones. When she bought her phone case, it was a buy one get one free offer, and she casually gave me one. I hadn't paid attention earlier and had just answered her call. Looking at Ava White, who was still humming in the bathroom, I casually explained, "Ava White is taking a shower. How about you call back later?" "Who are you? Why are you at her place?" The person on the other end anxiously threw out a rapid-fire series of questions. How was I supposed to explain this? I scratched my head. As I was pondering, Ava White's voice came from the bathroom. "Chris, why isn't this strawberry-scented shower gel my favorite?" I hastily put down the phone. "Why did you switch the shower gel to honeydew melon? You're getting bold, aren't you? You actually changed my sacred, inviolable strawberry scent. This is blasphemy." Ava White, covered in foam, poked her head out of the bathroom. Her face was flushed from the steam. I unconsciously cleared my throat, pulled a new bottle of strawberry-scented shower gel from the cabinet, and tried to hand it to her through the crack in the door. Who knew Ava White would roll her eyes and huff? "Chris, are you doing this on purpose? Trying to peek at me again?" My cheeks instantly flushed. "What do you mean, again? It was just that one time, okay? Besides, I wasn't peeking. That summer, after high school graduation, we went on a graduation trip with our classmates. The girl sharing a room with her suddenly knocked on the door, saying Ava White might have fainted in the bathroom. I rushed over without even putting on my shoes. It turned out Ava White had just gotten too comfortable in the bath and fallen asleep. The moment our eyes met, I thought she would literally tear me limb from limb. I even thought about where I'd be buried for the rest of my lives. But the usually boisterous and domineering Ava White, who used to treat me like a brother, blushed furiously and ran off wrapped in a towel. That forgotten memory suddenly came rushing back. So Ava White had always thought I did it on purpose? She could still remember it so clearly after all these years. I retorted, unwilling to be outdone. Ava White, what part of you haven't I seen? She reached out to take the shower gel, her fair arm glistening with water droplets. She raised her hand and smeared my face with foam. Do you have a death wish? I frantically shook my head. After all, she still treasured a photo of me wearing a dress as a child on her phone. Ava White smirked contentedly, hooked my chin, and then slipped back into the bathroom to continue singing at the top of her lungs. When she emerged wrapped in a towel, I tossed her phone to her. Your good brother just called looking for you. Said I was up to something. Weren't you the one secretly keeping a puppy outside? When's the wedding? Ava White glanced at me while checking her call history. I'm single. I'm a queen on my own. She casually brushed her still damp hair aside, a few water droplets trickling down her chest and into her towel. She carelessly tossed her phone aside and, ignoring all etiquette, picked up a strawberry, eating it with juice dripping from her mouth. Aren't you going to call him back? Not convenient. Later. My heart instantly tightened. Was it because I was here that it wasn't convenient for her to call back? From his voice, that guy sounded a lot like the male lead from the show we'd just watched. Their rumored romance was all over the internet. We sat on the sofa, enveloped by the faint strawberry scent from her. Ava White suddenly leaned closer to me. Have you seen my new show? I instinctively blurted, no, but she raised an eyebrow at me. I shook my head frantically. If she knew I'd watched every single one of her works, she'd probably laugh at my grave even after I died. Don't I look especially beautiful? Leading men 1, 2, 3, and 4 all love me, don't you think? With Ava White practically pressing her entire face against mine, my breathing hitched. I stammered, I haven't seen it. How would I know? The next second, she clutched her stomach, bursting into laughter. Chris, I got you again. Aren't you silly? I was terrified, almost thinking she had discovered my secret. Turns out, she was just kidding. I breathed a sigh of relief. Then, Ava White was holding my phone, playfully saying, just look at the viewing history, and you'll know. The relief I had just felt vanished, and my anxiety immediately surged again. I quickly reached out a hand to press against her face, while my other hand tried to snatch my phone back. Her arms weren't as long as mine, and she flailed wildly in the air. Short legs are indeed short legs. But then she stuck out her tongue and quickly licked my palm. In the moment of my shock, she immediately tackled me onto the sofa. I felt the dampness on my palm as her entire body pressed against mine, our breaths mingling. I involuntarily turned my head, averting my gaze from hers. Short legs, are you trying to take advantage of me? Her hair brushed against both sides of my neck, just as I reached my breaking point, ready to push her away. The door frame was pushed open. Ava White, I knew you were at Chris's place. You're trending, damn it. Her agent, Mrs. King, burst in, yelling at the top of her lungs. Seeing us tangled on the sofa, she let out a piercing shriek. In broad daylight, under the clear blue sky, I seized the opportunity to snatch back my phone and quickly explain to the agent. She was checking my phone. I got it back. Ava White tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and lightly glanced at me. I was checking up on him. Mrs. King's suspicious gaze darted back and forth between us. Finally, she plopped down between Ava White and me and whispered to her, did you finally get him? Get what? Get leading man 1, 2, 3, 4? Or the sticky sweet boy who just called? I pricked up my ears, ready to listen further. Ava White stepped on my foot hard while giving her agent a fake smile. Unless Chris dies, that's no reason for you to disturb us now. Mrs. King rolled her eyes at Ava White and opened her phone. Ava, you're trending. Wasn't Ava White always trending? Was it really necessary for Mrs. King to come all the way here in person? The next second, I saw the headlines on the screen, followed by the search term, Ava White secretly harbors a puppy. My heart sank. My guess was right. I couldn't help but add emphasis, questioning Ava White. When did you betray our revolutionary friendship? I didn't. I'm not. I'm a queen on my own. Mrs. King rolled her eyes at me again, scrolling down her phone screen. Sweetie, aren't you a dog? Why are you cursing? As Mrs. King opened the trending topic, I realized that the call earlier was from the popular young actor Owen Hayes. He was participating in a live variety show at the time, and the production team had asked him to call a friend live and say, I miss you. Owen Hayes was the male lead of the TV series The other guests chimed in. Owen's friend must be Ava, right? She's usually so reserved. I wonder if she'll say more to Owen. Ha ha ha. Owen Hayes then chuckled twice, causing the audience's screens to fill with mentions of Ava White. Encouraged by the guests, he half-heartedly entered Ava White's phone number. That's when what I had just experienced happened. The phone rang. Owen Hayes nervously gripped the phone. The guests held their breath. The call was answered. He said his lines with deep affection. I miss you, drawing gasps and cheers from the host and all the guests. Then, my voice came through, saying Ava White was taking a shower. The comments section immediately went crazy, filling the screen with question marks. What? Was that a man's voice just now? What did he say? Ava White is taking a shower? Am I allowed to hear this? My goddess is secretly keeping a puppy at home. The next second, Ava White's voice, expressing her distaste for my changing the shower gel, came through the receiver. The comments section went even wilder. Chris? Who's Chris? He even knows her favorite shower gel scent? Their relationship must be something serious. Just watching a variety show, and my goddess gets gnawed on by a dog. But speaking of which, I'd like to see the goddess shower too. The entire screen was filled with all sorts of comments. And then, something even more exciting happened. I hadn't managed to hang up the phone in time. It wasn't until Ava White angrily accused me of peeking at her showering that Owen Hayes frantically hung up. Although he explained with a long face that he had dialed the wrong number, the audience outside the screen clearly didn't believe him. What is the goddess doing? This must be a couple's little game. Can't believe the goddess plays so wild and private. And they call her a cold, elegant goddess. The host quickly tried to smooth things over, but the call interface was clearly being broadcast live on the big screen. The contact name was indeed Ava White, and her unique, clear voice couldn't be found anywhere else in the entertainment industry. The host announced, and now, a word from our sponsors, and the live stream was immediately cut. Although the live stream ended quickly, Ava White's name shot to the top of trending topics within minutes. Trending, Ava White secretly harbors a puppy. Trending, Ava White vs. Peeping Tom. Trending, Ava White, the cold goddess, secretly likes strawberry-scented shower gel. Looking at these trending terms, I felt utterly bewildered. Finally, I understood what Mrs. King meant by dog. It was me. In this carnival involving all netizens, only I wasn't allowed to have a name. Among the comments, there were many shippers of Ava White and Owen Hayes who were furiously cursing. After all, their TV series was currently airing, and the pairing of the aloof older sister and the shy younger brother was immensely popular. Many fans even thought they were a couple in real life. Owen Hayes had even subtly posted some sweet daily moments, and in the variety show, he said things that invited speculation. Now, Ava White and I looked like the other woman and the scheming woman. I pursed my lips. Ava White. I think I said something wrong just now. Ava White lay on the sofa, casually chewing on a strawberry, and mumbled, Owen Hayes is the one who said something wrong. What does it have to do with you? I looked at her agent, confused. Mrs. King slapped her thigh and said indignantly, that Owen Hayes just wants to cling on and leech off our hotness every day. Even if it wasn't you trending today, it would have been him. He's not focused on honing his acting skills, just relying on these rumors to gain popularity. Humph. I nodded, half understanding, but then I wondered if this would affect Ava White's career. Anyway, Ava is old enough. If some other dog is going to get her, I'd rather it be a familiar one. We'd be more at ease. Mrs. King raised an eyebrow at Ava White. Just take this opportunity to confirm your relationship, and I can explain to your parents too. Hearing the words confirm your relationship, my heart immediately pounded like thunder. I slowly shifted my gaze away. Ava White seemed to be observing my expression, then said playfully, we'll talk about it later. I won't agree without a rose diamond ring. I forced out a couple of dry laughs. Right. The agent sighed, simultaneously contacting staff to figure out how to resolve the situation and asking Ava White for her plan. I silently scrolled through the trending topics on the side, but I kept feeling their gazes on me. Finally, they decided to appear as surprise guests via video call on the live variety show. Next, we enter the final surprise segment. After all the segments concluded, the host excitedly held up the microphone. Immediately, Ava White's video call appeared on the large screen behind the guests. Hello everyone, I'm Ava White. Ava White, beside me, was now in full makeup, sitting upright on the sofa. She was completely unlike her previous relaxed demeanor of slouching and eating strawberries, instead exuding an aura of do not approach. The guests on stage excitedly waved at Ava White. The next second, I squeezed in beside her and also waved at the camera. Hee hee, hello everyone, I'm Chris. I smiled awkwardly. Ava White subtly raised an eyebrow. The guests' eyes immediately widened, and they started asking questions excitedly. Ava, is this your boyfriend? He's my childhood friend. We ran out of shower gel at home, so I came to his place to borrow his bathroom. The guests, loving the drama, continued to ask, did the supermarket go out of business? Perfect. Official mockery is the deadliest, but Ava White simply tilted her neck slightly and gently brushed off the question. Next, she and I began to answer some random questions from the guests. I can understand childhood friends visiting, but accidentally answering the phone? Isn't that too far-fetched? Ava White said expressionlessly. The phones were buy one get one free, and he got the extra one. It's normal to mistake them since they look alike. I nodded in agreement. How does Chris know Ava likes strawberry-scented shower gel? That's a very private topic. Ava White brushed her hair back and said, as childhood friends, we know even more private things. I continued to nod. Who knew the guests? To verify the pure revolutionary friendship between us, asked Ava White and me to play a no-laughing game. We each had to hold a mouthful of water and then stare at each other. If we spat out the water within 30 seconds, we'd lose, and the guests could give us a penalty. I held a mouthful of water, looking at Ava White across from me, her cheeks puffed out. In elementary school, Ava White grew faster than me, ate more than me, and often mooched meals at my house. Back then, she was just like she is now, with her mouth stuffed full, even joking that she wanted to be my family's daughter-in-law so she could eat braised pork every day. Thinking about how she used to lean close to me and wipe the oil from her mouth all over me, I couldn't help but laugh. And then I spat water all over Ava White. Ava White froze for 2 seconds, silently swallowed the water in her mouth, then reached out and pinched my cheek. Chris, do you have a death wish? As I frantically wiped the water off Ava White, the comments section had already exploded. I ended up being the most insignificant part of this whole thing. Am I some cheap thrill? Why are you showing me this? The destined one will always be, but childhood friends. You can tell from Ava White's eyes that her intentions are anything but innocent. And he even directly pinched her face. Her ears are all red. My goddess. Owen Hayes' dream is shattered. Just then, Owen Hayes suddenly leaned his face close to the video camera, frowning and anxiously saying, Ava, are you okay? Is the water cold? Go change your clothes quickly. I'll bring you cold medicine tonight. The water hadn't even had time to soak into her clothes before I wiped it dry. Besides, she had just taken a shower with so much water, she wouldn't catch a cold. Wasn't his concern a bit over the top? Before the host could even try to smooth things over, Ava White said seriously, no need. I'm not used to ordinary colleagues coming to my house. Besides, Chris is here, isn't he? After Ava White said that, our relationship became even more perplexing. The comments section went crazy again. Ha ha ha. I told you Ava White wasn't interested in Owen Hayes. Turns out he's the one chasing her. They already said ordinary colleagues. His acting is terrible. He just wants to gain popularity by clinging to a fake couple. Serves him right. All that manufactured sweetness every day. Isn't Ava White's real childhood friend a better couple? Didn't you notice the main point? The main point is, there's a dog there. When? Where? I'm going to camp under the bed tonight. Make room for me upstairs. Seeing that the comments wouldn't stop anytime soon, the host suggested we continue with Ava White and my punishment. The request was to show the audience the latest photo in our phone albums. I gripped my phone, my heart pounding, because the latest photo saved on my phone was a still from Ava White's show. In it, she was wearing a white school uniform, waving at the screen in the sunlight, just like the Ava I knew. Ava White glanced at me, seemingly sensing my nervousness. She smiled at the video screen. Let's protect the non-celebrity. Just look at mine. Her photo showed several ordinary sunflowers. A warmth climbed to my ears, because only I knew that these sunflowers were the ones I had given her a few days ago. What did she mean by that? After the live stream ended, I didn't even have time to ask Ava White what the photo meant before the trending topics exploded again. Ava White called me a non-celebrity in the live stream, but a big influencer dug up my social media account with tens of thousands of followers. What childhood friends? I think they're reading from a script. Does anyone still believe in pure love literature these days? no shower gel, so she borrows a bathroom, and then conveniently answers a call by mistake? The aspiring internet celebrity's ambition is too obvious. I say, this Chris's acting is really good, even pretending to be uncomfortable in front of the camera. Owen Hayes would have to applaud him. Yes, I do have a social media account, because my main job is a computer programmer, and I like to share code in my free time. Only a few of my videos accidentally showed my face. If that counts as an internet celebrity, then the intelligence of these netizens is questionable. I continued to scroll through the trending topics, seeing comments from netizens like, nowadays, anyone can become famous. Don't even look at how poorly written this script is. Like it's from elementary school. Isn't that right? If you don't have shower gel, just buy some. Shouldn't a CEO's home have an 8,000 acre supermarket? I say, the screenwriter isn't bold enough. Even if they're childhood friends, they should still keep their distance at that age, right? And sharing a bathroom? Why sugarcoat a physical relationship? It's disgusting. Isn't Ava White always this cold, elegant goddess? In the end, her fate is still an internet celebrity. Another new way for celebrities to fall from grace in the entertainment industry. He's my childhood friend. A real childhood friend wouldn't just be exposed now. They've kept it well hidden. The most miserable one is Owen Hayes. He was unfairly labeled as a clingy guy. He cared about her, and yet he was called an ordinary colleague. Poor guy. Meanwhile, my social media direct messages piled up to 999 plus, filled with all sorts of vulgar curses. If you're a man, don't always think about leeching off women's popularity. Go work a real job. It's better than being a kept man. Go die. You scumbag. You ruined our brother. Even the code I had painstakingly developed for several years was reported and taken down. That night, I lay in bed, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. Was this the power of keyboard warriors? My phone screen suddenly lit up. It was Owen Hayes' post on social media. I will cherish everything in the show. Outside the show, please take good care of sis. The post included a 9-panel grid of 18 selfies of him crying. Pushing these on me in the middle of the night was truly malicious. Moreover, he had pulled his collar down so low, his abdominal muscles faintly visible. Of course, the comments from his fans were filled with sympathy. Ava White is blind if she doesn't like you. I declare my love for you. I declare my love for you. Owen Hayes, brother's chest. We'll protect it from now on. No. These photos for memes clearly reek of manipulative behavior. Why are his fans still feeling wronged? There were also some skirmishes in the comments between Ava White's fans and Owen Hayes' fans. Look at our sister. She just spoke the truth. And your brother is acting like this? Whose fans have such bitter mouths? Even if you complain, the goddess still got gnawed on by a dog. Chris and sis are a better match. At least he's more pleasing to the eye than that manipulative guy. Chris is your ancestor? He's clearly a kept man who got into bed with her. Why make it sound so good? The remaining words became increasingly vulgar. I took a deep breath. I wondered how Ava White was doing. It was so late. She should be asleep by now. I tucked my phone under my pillow, planning to sleep until morning and ask her then. The next morning, I woke up and opened my phone to find another 999 plus unread messages on my social media. I was about to put my phone back and continue sleeping, but then I saw that Ava White had also posted last night, barely 40 minutes after Owen Hayes' post, just 3 concise words, real childhood friend. The 9-panel grid included a photo of me as a child, forced to wear a dress, while she laughed so hard her tonsils showed. Another showed us after junior high graduation, her jumping on my back and yanking my hair. There was also one from high school graduation, her standing beside me in a short-sleeved shirt, smiling brightly. In the center was the photo of the sunflowers. Each photo brought back memories of our past. Below, the comments section was filled with netizens' remarks. Oh my god, she even has photos of him wearing a dress, hidden away. Definitely real childhood friends. Some people with dirty minds got slapped in the face, right? Can't there be pure love literature in the entertainment industry? This is the fastest Ava has ever posted a social media update. In front of true love, a goddess has to bravely be herself, instantly transforms into a goofy girl. Who understands? The Ice Queen and the Shy Puppy, aren't they a couple you'd ship? Ava White didn't delete these playful comments. She even pinned one and replied to it. Did only I notice the sunflowers? There must be a story behind them. Ava White's reply, from the puppy. This ambiguous and suggestive reply made netizens even more uninhibited in discussing my relationship with her. Ava White even picked a few more to reply to. What? I want to hear story details. Ava White's full text response. Why didn't the netizen buy shower gel themselves? Why mooch off the puppy? Ava White, save where you can, spend where you must. Netizen, if they're really childhood friends, why are they only being exposed now? It must be a script. Actors. Ava White, as a programmer, I feel offended. She even sounded a bit resentful. What was going on? Soon, everyone followed the comments on my profile and found Ava White's alt account, an account named Shortlegs Ava. It had liked every single one of my posts, and occasionally replied late at night with comments like, working overtime, going bald, died suddenly. This was a far cry from Ava White's public image as a cold and elegant goddess. My private messages were also filled with blessings from her fans. Working overtime will kill you. Why not go home and take good care of my sister? My programmer heart sank. At this point, the public opinion instantly reversed. From sympathizing with brother Owen Hayes' unrequited love to hoping brother Chris the dog settles down soon. Owen Hayes, though playing dead by remaining silent, saw the comments under his 9-panel crying selfies being bombarded. A comment with tens of thousands of likes read, 3 people in a story is too crowded. Brother Owen Hayes, please take your chest muscles and go. Mrs. King's actions were just as swift. She immediately released our high school graduation photo and a lawyer's letter. In the graduation photo, everyone looked so youthful and innocent. Although the picture was blurry, Ava White still stood out beautifully. I stood behind her, pinching her ear, and she smiled freely and brightly, full of youthful energy, like a little sprite. My goddess is still a goddess even when pixelated. Who understands? It feels like Ava White actually enjoys it. Before, a co-star just touched her hair, and she ruthlessly dodged him. What is keeping one's purity? Even the goddess's hair is for her childhood friend. No other dogs can touch it. I had never noticed this before. When I interacted with Ava White, physical contact was inevitable. She would even actively place her hand on my waist and rub it back and forth, claiming it was to check on the quality for my future girlfriend. I would then naturally pick her up, letting her flail in the air until she begged me to put her down. There were also public accounts that released deep dives. Is Ava White's childhood friend real or fake? In the post, an insider revealed, I was in the same grade as Ava White in high school. She was genuinely beautiful, and everyone knew she had a little childhood friend by her side, the one she'd known since diapers. Ava's personality back then was pretty much the same as now, an ice queen, but completely goofy around her childhood friend. The two basically stuck together after class and school. Although they acted like brothers and sisters, no one really believed it. How can there be a pure revolutionary friendship between a man and a woman? Gossip, Ava really didn't have any suitors in high school. Do you know why? But I don't know if Ava still likes her little childhood friend after entering the entertainment industry. On one side, fans were cheering about Ava White's contrasting cuteness and demanding that she and I be locked together. On the other side, there were doubts about the leaker's true identity, demanding proof of graduation. Only my mind was buzzing with the words from the post. Since Ava White was so beautiful, why did she have no suitors in high school? Before high school, Ava White always dressed like a tomboy, happily calling me brother, but after high school, she suddenly went crazy for some reason. Not only did she grow out her hair, but she also uncharacteristically started wearing dresses. And from winter to summer, when Ava changed into short-sleeved shirts, her figure became curvaceous. My good buddy, who used to put her arm around my shoulder, now had her desk filled with love letters. Her desk was piled high with sodas and small bread rolls. Even during basketball practice, teammates would unconsciously whistle at Ava White the moment they dunked. I finally realized Ava White was different from before. The students around me, who stayed up all night studying, had sallow faces and dark circles under their eyes. Only she remained fair and radiant, like a fresh white radish just pulled from the ground. I started to tease her, asking if she would forget her brothers once she had 3 wives and 4 concubines. Ava White then rolled her eyes and said that men are like clothes, and I was her eternal dog. Then, her suitors vanished overnight. I laughed at Ava White, asking if it was because she was too fierce that no one dared to pursue her further. She then twisted my ear and said she was saving herself for her future boyfriend. At that time, I didn't dare tell her that I was a little secretly happy, although I couldn't say if this was love. I loved the time I spent with Ava White. I even selfishly hoped that she could only be with me. Later, after high school graduation, I chose to study abroad in the States, while she was discovered by a talent scout in her freshman year and officially entered the entertainment industry. During those nights abroad, my feelings for Ava White became increasingly clear. I desperately wanted to return to her side, even if it was just to be near her. During this time, I stayed up late writing papers in a library in Boston, while she slowly became a household name. Upon graduation, I also received offers from many internationally renowned internet companies, but I rejected them all because I just wanted to come back and see her. I remember she picked me up from the airport that day. As soon as we met, her nose was red, and she rushed over to hug me. "Why didn't you bring back a foreign wife for me to see?" She squeezed herself into my arms, tilted her head back, and I teased, "How could any be as good as my big star?" Ava White's voice seemed to carry a hint of a sob. "Then why did you leave for so many years, if you didn't come back soon?" She didn't continue, but my heart pounded fiercely the moment I saw her. Later, although she moved next door to me, I was no longer as at ease with her as before, because I had other thoughts. I wanted to have her, to be her boyfriend. Now, seeing the overwhelming comments online, I was afraid I couldn't hide my feelings anymore. If she knew I liked her, had liked her for a long time, would she leave my world forever? And would we not even be friends anymore? Just then, her agent called again. "Sweetie, I'm telling you, are you really going to do this or not? Ava is practically feeding herself to your mouth. Why don't you just bite? If you had figured it out in high school and knew Ava's good intentions, you'd have kids old enough to buy soy sauce by now." "What do you mean? Ava White likes me too?" Mrs. King shrieked on the other end. "You really are a dog. Otherwise, how do you think no one delivered love letters to Ava White overnight? Because she was saving herself for you." So, at that time, that sentence Ava White said was directed at me? I scrolled through the 10 photos of Ava White on my phone, lost in thought about the past. At that time, Ava White and I were aimlessly strolling on the track. Suddenly, several boys walked towards us. I remembered them from the basketball court, where they had whistled at Ava White and even publicly confessed their feelings on the grandstand. I scrutinized them carefully. Not very handsome. Noses not as high as mine, shorter than me, and even their chest muscles weren't well developed. I proudly tilted my head. As the boys walked past us, I heard snippets of their conversation. "Too fierce. She must be jealous. Is that really necessary?" I glanced at Ava White beside me. It must be because she was usually too cold, pouring cold water on these suitors. So I started lecturing her not to be too fierce. Ava White, while talking about saving herself for her future boyfriend, held my hand and walked around the track again and again until there were no other students around. Now that I think about it, did I miss all the crucial parts from beginning to end? I wanted to know the answer, so I picked up my phone and found Shortlegs Ava at the top of my WhatsApp contacts. "Coming home tonight?" "Yeah, wait for me tonight. I have something to tell you." The other party replied almost instantly. I smiled and typed a few words. "Coincidentally, I have something to tell you too." That night, I heard the sound of the door opening next door and followed. The next second, I abruptly retreated, my face flushed red. Ava White was taking off her clothes to change into loungewear. Even for just a fleeting moment, I saw her smooth back, her more curvaceous figure compared to her student days, and the areas hidden by her dark hair. My heart pounded fiercely. I couldn't help but exclaim, "Didn't you know I was coming in?" "I did." "Then why were you changing? Is there a problem with me changing clothes in my own home?" I instantly wanted to slap my forehead and laugh bitterly. If it were any other man who walked in, they wouldn't have retreated like I did. A few minutes later, she walked to the door in her slippers, raised an eyebrow, and motioned for me to come in. "Is everything resolved? Are fans still not chasing you and cursing you?" Ava White handed me a box of strawberries. I took the strawberries to the kitchen to wash them. "I'm amazing, right?" Quickly. "Thank your savior." Even without posting the photo of me in a dress, I knew she was about to say something outrageous. I quickly stuffed a strawberry into her mouth. Even though I had prepared myself at home, standing in front of Ava White, I became cautious again. I silently pulled out my phone and searched for "confessing a crush." The comments below were all uniform. The person you like doesn't like you. If the other person doesn't take the initiative, it means they don't love you. How can you bear to make them suffer unrequited love? I unconsciously swallowed. Is that how it is? My keen eyes even spotted a comment that read, "I bet the person searching for this topic definitely includes Ava White's clueless puppy." Everyone else was answering the question seriously, so why did this user stand out so much? Below that was a comment with tens of thousands of likes, telling the puppy to pounce and kiss her. See if Ava White pushes him away. I held my breath, unconsciously gripping my phone tighter. Do I really have to be that direct? The next second, a fair finger tapped my screen, leaving a red like on that comment. My mind immediately exploded like countless fireworks. Ava White had been beside me the whole time, and I hadn't even noticed, and she even used my account to like it. This planet couldn't contain me. Ava White looked at me with a smiling face. Just do what the comment says. See if I push you away. Am I not being proactive? If you love someone, how can you bear to make them suffer unrequited love? My mind buzzed. It was like countless fireworks were blooming. Then, as if possessed, I lowered my head and kissed Ava White. After I lightly released her, Ava White hooked her arms around my neck and kissed me back, even haphazardly nibbling on my lower lip. I don't know how long it was before we finally let go. Her cheeks were flushed, and she whispered, "Aren't you going to commit to me?" I nodded. It's all you." She happily jumped onto my back, tugging my hair and exclaiming, "This is Ava White's." Ava White's hand slid down my cheek. "This is Ava White's." Then it slid down to my chest and squeezed. "This is Ava White's too." Although the atmosphere was good, true to form, Ava White. I gritted my teeth, letting Ava White light fires all over my body until I carried her into the bedroom and closed the door. The next morning, as soon as I opened my eyes, I saw Ava White nestled in my arms, blinking her big eyes at me. So she had liked me all along. So we had loved each other all along. As we stared into each other's eyes, she suddenly burrowed her head under the covers and mumbled, "Finally, my dream has come true." That sounded suspicious. I unceremoniously dug her out of the covers and asked, "What exactly happened in high school?" Ava White's face suddenly flushed red. She turned her back to me, showing me the back of her head. "I was afraid if you knew people were pursuing me, you'd lose interest in me. So I told them, you were my boyfriend, and because we couldn't date openly, we could only have a secret relationship. And I also said, you were very crude, and wouldn't even let me look at other guys. If anyone else confessed to me, you would." I smiled calmly. "I would what?" "You'd break their dog legs." No wonder those boys were muttering about her being fierce back then. No wonder the track gradually emptied out when we were strolling around. My manual smiley face. Seeing that I hadn't spoken, Ava White turned around and asked cautiously, "Are you mad?" I shook my head. If I had known years ago that I already had the title of Ava White's boyfriend, I definitely wouldn't have waited until now to exercise my rights. "Your smile is very dangerous." She pursed her lips. "You know that, right? I have to make up for these past few years." In the afternoon, we were woken by Mrs. King's call. Her piercing voice came through the phone. "You're trending again. You two handle it yourselves." It turned out that the comment Ava White liked on my account last night had been discovered. My social media comment section was already overflowing. "Bro, you actually searched for confessing a crush. How did it go? Did it work?" At Ava White. "The whole world knows your puppy has a crush on you." Huh? Actually, I only care if this brother pounced and kissed her by force. No news after a whole night. Looking at the time, the puppy is either still in bed or has been abandoned. I hesitated, unsure how to handle it. After all, Ava White was a public figure. If I replied inappropriately, it might affect her. The next second, Ava White snatched my phone. She used my social media account to post an update, didn't push away. "This is Ava White." The comments section instantly exploded. "My goddess, why aren't you more reserved? Did the puppy get you that easily?" Ava White used the puppy's phone. "They were together all night last night. Someone kill me. Come on, give sis and the puppy some cheer. Today, I declare that pure love literature is the best." Ava White then handed her phone to me, raised an eyebrow, and gestured with her eyes for me to post the show still photo on her social media. Live variety show game challenge, latest photo in the album. "This is Chris." Epilogue 1, Ava White's new show. Ava White's new show began filming, where she played a noble queen. I brought several boxes of strawberries to the set. From afar, I saw Ava White in a tight cheongsam and 4-inch heels, her black hair coiled elegantly behind her head, exuding an aura of an unapproachable queen. She caught sight of me and, despite her high heels, stumbled towards me and threw herself into my arms. "My little puppy is so well behaved, coming to see mommy." I wanted to slap her on the head, but given the snickering glances from the surrounding crowd, I secretly held back. She pulled me into her RV, and as soon as we were inside, she draped herself over me, muttering, "These heels are too high, I'm so tired." I looked at her swollen ankles and carefully helped her take off her shoes. "It'll feel better if I blow on it." I tenderly blew on her ankle a few times. The next second, Ava White arched her foot into my collar and raised an eyebrow. "Call me your majesty," I smiled, holding her foot that was pressed against my chest through my clothes. "Your majesty, allow me to massage your feet. Is your lower back aching? I'll massage that for you. How about I serve you well tonight?" Epilogue 2, First Meeting Chris. The first time I saw Chris was in kindergarten. There were no heroic rescue scenes. We just grew closer and closer. In junior high, I didn't care about looking good and always dressed like a tomboy, casually calling him brother. It wasn't until graduation day that a girl secretly called me to the hallway, her face red, asking me to help her deliver a love letter to Chris. I looked at the girl's long hair and short skirt, and suddenly I was lost. Chris was no longer the little kid shorter than me. Now, he could call me short legs, and his presence on the basketball court made girls scream, so I was afraid. I was afraid Chris would agree to be her boyfriend. I even darkly thought about throwing away that love letter. I knew what this terrible possessiveness meant. I liked him. Fortunately, Chris didn't care at all and said that having me as a friend was enough. In high school, I started growing out my hair and wearing short skirts. I even intentionally or unintentionally made physical contact with Chris, but this silly dog was so clueless. He even happily helped me choose which suitor was better. So I told those suitors that Chris was my boyfriend and also spread some small rumors about him. High school went smoothly, except for him. Everyone knew about our relationship. Unfortunately, we still separated in college. I didn't want to trap him in one place because of my feelings for him. He deserved to go to a wider world. To make sure he could see me, I agreed to a talent scout's offer and entered the entertainment industry. Later, he came back. This time, I was going to bring back my puppy. The end.